flack for the past 2 seasons for telling the truth. Go figure that telling the truth would tick people off. The truth is that last year, coming into that season, we came off of that milestone win against Alabama, which shocked the world. We had guys on major networks, jumping off of bridges because they realized they were not being, as you said, objective. They were just, swishing around the same toilet water as everybody else. But I try not to do that, even though I'm donning this. But I said to the Clemson community, and I said on my channel, even though it was in character, and then I came on good shows like yours and as myself and said this. We are not hungry. Clemson has lost its edge. They are not hungry. They have the talent to dominate their schedule. They're not hungry. And I was told, how dare you? Coach Sweeney is doing this and he's doing that, and you don't understand, and they're not going to show their playbook, and every great excuse in the book. And then that one night, now I know that it was a once-in-a-lifetime team, and we see where that once-in-a-lifetime team is. They've crashed and burned, and they had a horrible season this year because they lost, guess what, all their talent. But that night, Clemson was not only just outplayed, they were outhearted. Moving into this season, I saw some more of that. That Notre Dame game reminds me so much of that Pittsburgh game we had with Deshaun Watson. Pittsburgh came to Death Valley and scored 45 points on us. My God, unless they're playing William and Mary, they don't score 45 points anytime. And they did it to us. And from that point on, Clemson became a robot, just blasting through everybody. And what I saw Saturday night, I called my dad, because I call my dad during football games. I called him and I said, this is the first time they've looked hungry since that championship season. And if Clemson is truly that hungry, I think we win the national championship again. As long as they're healthy, as long as they keep that edge, I think we win it again. But they have to keep that edge, because you get, and you know this, you get into this stage of football, everybody wants it. Everybody's talented, but it's who wants it more, who plays with fundamentals, who is staying healthy, who is on their game, because this is big boy football.
So I got 2 questions. If you have time to answer them.
Yeah,
if
sure.
not, then we have the excuse of having you back.
I'll still come back, but I'll answer the questions.
Notre Dame, Texas A&M, or somebody else, did the committee get it right? How close do you think the call should have been? What would you have done?
We need an 8-game playoff. The only reason we don't have an 8-game playoff is because some people with PhD at the end of their names and CPA and probably a few other letters like SOB and so on tied up legal contracts, and now they're going to have to be honored and until we can get an 18 playoff. We don't need more than 8. We don't need less than 8. We have 5 Power 5 conferences and 3 at large. Okay, that was not your question, but I want to preface that. Second of all, I think that the 3 best college football teams, even though I know you're a Ohio State fan, I mean, you play what, 6 games? If I'm everybody else, I'm sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. If I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm happy. But you have 3 really good football teams. At this point, it's a toss-up. If I'm A&M, A&M's like, hey, I know we got blown out by 4 touchdowns, but that was 6 weeks ago. These guys you put in, they got blown out by almost 4 touchdowns 17 hours ago.
And it could have been worse.
And it could have been worse, and you're going to put them in. So you know, if they're to put in A&M, and it might have made everybody feel better, but I think we're going to get the same result. Alabama is going to buzzsaw those guys, and it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a remake of 2012 when what's that old guy who announces? No, I'm talking about the old guy who was announcing the game, and he talked about how good looking AJ McCarron. Yeah, and everybody got mad because he said that if you play quarterback at Alabama, that's what you get. Hey, just time out. You know me, I go on a rant for a second. I swear I won't get your channel banned. 15 seconds of a rant. Have you saw the girlfriends for a lot of these players? If these guys didn't play for a major college football team, they wouldn't be dating them. Anyway, time back in. It's going to be that game all over again. But if you look at Cincinnati, you look at, I mean, and I know this is a long shot. Little Coastal Carolina, they're 4 hours from us. Man, aside from Clemson, I've sat and watched so many of their games. I've been pulling for them, love them. I love the story of their coach. I mean, if anybody knows anything about Coastal Carolina, they know first they're not in Myrtle Beach. They're in Conway, South Carolina, which is like 35 minutes from Myrtle Beach. But they know that, you know, man, they've had a lot of struggles. And what a great story. But the committee thumbs their nose up to it. I mean, somehow last week until Iowa State lost, Iowa State was sitting at 6. Okay, Matt Campbell's a good football coach. But before the Big 12 game kicked off, I looked at my son, Bobby Durkins Jr., and he was like, hey, who do you think's going to win? Without even thinking, I said, Oklahoma's going to beat them. I mean, Oklahoma's going to beat them. I didn't do research. I didn't have to go to a think tank. I didn't get on any forums. And guess what? Oklahoma beat them. There's something wrong with this thing, and we've got to rectify it. But to answer your question, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you're happy. If you're an A&M fan, you think you got left out, Bama was going to bust through you anyway. So just, you know, you just live in the world of, it didn't work out. Darn.